Good morning, folks. This has been the first opportunity that I've actually had a quiet time and a space to be able to make another video where everybody's gone out, not for long I might add, but I actually have a chance. And I thought, I need to get on with the painting, but I thought I might not get another quiet chance to make another video or a vlog. So I thought just get stuck in and do that first and stuff everything else, because it won't be very long. It'll be very soon and I'll have to go out again. Looking out of the front window today, there's misty bits over the hills there. You can just about see over the tops of the houses. I love this view. I mean, I just ignore the cars, and eventually the bushes will grow tall enough that I don't actually see the cars going past, even if I still hear them. And I probably won't see even the houses. Hopefully all I see above the bushes is the hills, and I'll keep the bushes and trees short enough for me to be able to see that, so that I still get light in the garden, but as well shelter and privacy. And of course more habitat in the front garden. So there you are. So here in my very messy house, because it's been a very busy house and family, I am not going to show you all that mess except for this one on the table and all the work to be done. Absolutely crazy. There we go. Still some balloons up there from baby's birthday. There's my pile of washing to be done over there, mountain of it. I haven't done any watering in the front garden at all for almost 2 weeks. Actually, I'd only watered, what did I water? Blackberries. See? Mess. Piggy mess. Yeah. So, yeah, and I'm not going to get much chance to do a great deal more today. Still balloons up there. Haven't had a chance to take them down. There you go. Normal family life. Not all rosy and perfectly sweet. Buttons doesn't care though. She's a lovely natural creature just living in the moment. And right now she's chilling on the dead lawn. Won't be dead for long. There's some greenery coming back. But nothing to update in the garden. Just harvesting where this thing is ready. Still picking stuff daily from the garden for smoothies for breakfast. Including the flowers. Well, the edible ones anyway. Woke up this morning to come out here. There is loads of cabbage white eggs all over my broccoli and probably over the kale as well. But I just pick off the bits I don't want to use with the eggs on and use those with holes in. Just make sure they're clean and free from other little critters. They're still edible, even with butterfly holes in them. I did take the tomatoes out of those hanging baskets. It just was not gonna work. It needs proper basket little tomatoes. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to just say, since that's okay, hubby's just come back telling me smoothies on the kitchen counter for breakfast. I was thinking, since Wednesday, my granddaughter's birthday, was also another momentous day. It was Earth Overshoot Day. I didn't even know that existed until a few months ago. I saw a YouTube, was it YouTube or was it a Facebook post? I can't remember. And then I forgot about it. And then a dear friend reminded me of that a couple of weeks ago. And it was very good to see that, because I hadn't thought of that and I didn't know. And this friend of mine is very informed and always informs me of these things, because I don't know about all of this stuff going on. And she keeps informing me and sharing stuff from publications, and it really does help actually to have a friend who does have that opportunity. And because I don't have much chance to do much reading and studying of all these things and researching and stuff and keeping up to date with environmental news and things. But it got me thinking about a lot of stuff and my own personal journey and how hard it is even just getting started and how long it's taking it. And sometimes it's very frustrating because there's a great deal I want to do more on this journey, but haven't just don't sometimes seem to be getting anywhere, especially since I live in a family, in a home, and not everybody's on the same journey, and it can be very frustrating when I'm trying my best to reduce waste when others are not on the same journey and bring waste into the home that I'm trying to avoid. And I'm still trying to respect individual choices at the same time, and to remember a counsel from a dear man, Thomas S Monson, about not letting a problem to be solved become more important than a person to be loved. So trying to keep perspective and my feet on the ground as far as my journey to zero waste goes, and looking, trying to live more light-footed on the planet, because I want to be able to do my part and to be able to influence other people. But I don't want to do it in a militant and aggressive way, and I don't want to make people feel bad about their choices. That's not a permaculture way, it's certainly not a Christian way, and it's not a human way to behave. So as I was thinking about these things, I noticed some lovely little moments where, for the baby's birthday party, and her dad and mum had got little treats for the little tea party, and between all of that they remembered and got me a vegetarian salad and pakora thing for me, which I thought was very sweet, and that somehow the message is getting through. And I've seen other little signals that somehow the message is getting through. My son has put his rolling tobacco in an old baby food jar to store, and I thought, yes, we're getting somewhere. Little tiny steps, little tiny steps where it just helps to put aside my frustrations at the rest of the family not being on exactly the same journey, and allowing myself to remember and respect their choices and love them anyway. And I just loved that. And yesterday I was reminded by my grandson, who's absolutely adorable, and he spotted something on kids YouTube, and he loves Blue Planet and all stuff like that, and he's seen some, because he loves YouTube and Netflix, and he watches Blue Planet and things like that, and that's amazing for a 9-year-old little boy, although he is autistic, so it explains a bit more about why he's fascinated with things that most kids usually aren't. But he came to me and said, well, Grandma, did you know the world is coming to an end? It's going to end because of all the waste and the rubbish and piling up, and all the trees are going to be cut down. And I thought to myself, what? And it came like a slap in the face that this little boy has been watching these kind of environmental or natural world kind of stuff, and his little mind is quite concerned that there is a big event, to think about and worry about. And I had to quickly try and get some perspective for this little boy to think, yes, okay, things are not good. Yes, there is a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with waste in the world, and there's a lot of problems with chopping trees down. I said, those things are happening already. And he said, and there's great big storms and earthquakes. I said, yes, dear, they happen all over, always have. There's more now. And yes, the planet is sick. I tried to give a little bit of perspective that would help, regardless, of what. I know lots of people have different opinions and thoughts and feelings on things, and they teach their kids different things, but I thought to try and help this little boy get a little bit of perspective, I explained to him that my personal feeling is that the earth is a living mortal being just like us, and she obviously is prone to sicknesses and illnesses caused by other organisms that live on her, including us, and that she might one day, being mortal, will one day probably have to die, but like all of us spiritual and eternal beings will be renewed in some way, that she will receive a paradisiacal glory, that the work of creation is not finished. I explained to him that yes, the earth is ill, but if we that make her ill try to do our best to try and not make her ill anymore, then she can get better. Just like when we get sick, then if we make sure we live healthy and we treat our bodies right, then they can get better, because that's what they do. When we stop hurting our bodies by eating too much junk food or sweets or things that we shouldn't eat, then our bodies can fix themselves. So I explained to him that if we stop putting all this junk onto the earth, if we try to be good and look after it, then she can heal herself too. So it was just a little moment of trying to get a bit of perspective for a 9-year-old little boy concerned about realizing that there is problems for this globe that we live on, this wonderful planet, this living organism that we're hurting, and which will happen anyway in some ways, because it's a living organism. The planet, it is a living, breathing organism, and it does, being a mortal one, has a lifespan, but not just a mortal lifespan, but an immortal one too, I suppose. So it was lovely to give a little bit of perspective to a little boy who was concerned about these things. So it got me thinking that, as we do in permaculture and as human beings do by nature, it is always best to try and find some kind of silver linings, to take one tiny little step at a time on our journey, to just do all we can for ourselves. We can't solve the world problems, we can't solve global issues as individuals, but we can individually make a difference. And every person trying to make a difference adds to the number trying to make a difference. So it has more of an effect. And we can look for the perspective in things, not get carried away in the doom and gloom that's touted to us. I think it helped a little when I watched a really interesting and different idea of what's going on with my grandson not long ago, and we watched Tomorrowland, which was a fantastic movie. I loved it, and it does give an idea at the end of maybe perspective. As human beings, sometimes if we change our perspective and our attitude towards problems, that we usually tend to try and find solutions instead of wallowing in the mire of despair. And that stops us from moving forward. So if we do work towards positive solutions, even if we know it's not going to work, we still try. That goes a long way to finding solutions and making things better and staving off the negativity. So just that thought for you today. I will put a link, or rather what is it called, because I don't know how to do links and things. I don't even know if it works like links, but I will put the what do you call it? I don't know. There shows the evidence of my technological knowledge and things like that. What's it called? The address, the web address for the YouTube channel, with a little video about Earth Overshoot Day. And yes, it was on the 1st of August, but it's something to think about every day of the year. Earth Overshoot Day is the day of the year where, as a globe, generally speaking, as the globe, we have taken more resources out of the planet in that time than the planet can renew or replace within 12 months. And the date has been moving forward over almost quite a while now, probably about, I don't know when they started measuring. I'll have to look at that. If you look at the video, you'll see it. But this year has been the earliest part of the year. It's been 1st of August instead of later in the year, that we as a planet have consumed more from the planet and taken out of it than it can replace itself in a whole year, which is quite a scary thing to think about, and something for us to think about when we are shopping or when we are being consumers, that we start to be conscientious consumers. We don't want to encourage people to go back to the Dark Ages or Iron Ages or whatever, but just to be conscientious of the way that we interact with the planet, thinking about the consequences of our purchases and our uses. It's very difficult. I am struggling on that journey myself. But whatever we do as individuals, however small, is still worth it. And over time, you will see that it grows. It can also be a very expensive thing because it's, oh, listen to those birds. Wow. It can be very expensive because for some reason in our modern life, being environmentally aware or conscientious or eco or whatever you want to call it comes with a niche label, and therefore to buy zero waste is very expensive. A lot of things to do with environmentalism and retrofitting your house even with some modern eco gadgets and things is extremely expensive, but it doesn't always have to be. So yes, the next video I'm hoping to do, hopefully tomorrow or Monday, will be about the stringing up of those beautiful onions. Hopefully they survive that long. They should do. But there's some other things I wanted to show you because I have some examples of a few little pests and diseases, not many, and a few problems, but you know, they were interesting anyway, so I'll talk to you about that next time. But for today, I just wanted to share a little thought about perspective. Have a lovely day. Find something positive and do that, even the tiniest bit that everybody can do. Just do it and don't fret. Don't become wrapped up in fear. It'll all be all right in the end. All right, as we go. Okay? Positive ending then. It'll all work out. Have a lovely day, everyone. Bye.